All right, everyone. So let's go upstairs into the upper floor of the studio. I have some fan stuff from Overwatch. Most of you probably know this from Super Mario, Jinx from League of Legends, and my beloved old Jurassic Park, more than 20 years old. The very first iPad Generation 1. This didn't even have a cam back then. And there you go. This is the very first cup merch that I created. There was the old logo. And down there we have the Casio SK1. That was my very first keyboard when I started playing keyboard. My father bought this and then learned playing piano. And this guy, he's from Borderlands. If you ever played Borderlands, you know this guy. And this is my broken iPhone 5S. Alright, why do I tell you all this? Well, it's something maybe many of you don't even know. I'm a gamer. Since I was a young boy, I'm a nerd, if you like. And now I'm talking about productivity. How does this fit together? And this is what I want to talk about. I was always curious about what's behind the product, the game, the device that I'm using. And thanks to this curiosity, I learned so much in my life. Thanks to my father, I was using an Amiga 500. He was using an Atari. We had the first PCs. And I had to use DOS in order to start my games instead of having a console. And looking back to this, I'm really happy. Because I learned always the back end of things. But I'm not alone with the idea that gaming actually is a good thing. Elon Musk said exactly the same thing.
Part of the reason I got interested in technology was video games. I probably wouldn't have started programming if it wasn't for video games. Actually, video games are a very powerful force for getting young kids interested in technology. It has way bigger knock-on effects than people may realize.
So you see, we are not alone. And I think it's not about being silly playing games. Well, this is not very productive, gaming and so on, and maybe you heard this as well. But first of all, gaming itself was relaxing, but it still stimulated my brain to do something, whereas sitting in front of a TV watching series, I'm doing nothing. I always consistently need to do something with my brain. So I started programming as well, thanks to the curiosity. This made me climbing up the ladder in corporate, leading IT teams. But I never had studied programming. It was the general knowledge that I built up in order to connect the systems. Developers are great, they are experts, they know exactly what to do, but it's hard for them to understand what the end user actually needs. And this is another issue I see with the productivity tools nowadays as well. Usually it's one developer solving a problem for himself, building a solution for this and start selling the solution. People come in and say, oh, can you add this feature? Can you add this feature? And the developer starts stretching himself thin, trying to serve everybody, and in the end, serving nobody. And I trained the skill to understand the connection, to see the big picture. I think it's so important to be curious. It's so important to be curious when you start using productivity tools. It's important to question everything, every process that you're doing in order to improve it. Once you understand your process, once you understand the work streams, then you will find the bottlenecks and you understand how to improve it. This is why I'm teaching how to set up productivity systems in a tool agnostic way. When I do consulting or coaching, I never talk about the tools. I know a lot of tools. I know so many solutions and can build up productivity systems combining different tools. But this is usually not where we start. We always start on the basics, talking about what's your actual setup? How does it fit together? Why do you have this? Do you have actually your business processes in place or even your personal task processes and so on? Once you lay this out as a map, you can go in there, find the right tools and connect everything together. And all this I learned by doing games. I always questions how does it work? And I showed you the broken iPhone. I always wanted to tear apart such a device properly and see all the details in there. And obviously there are loads of YouTube videos that will show you this in much more detail. But I'm really excited because there was a company reaching out to me. And there you have it. This is the iPhone 5S teared apart. And with all the details, and it's really exciting because you see everything described properly, where the speaker sits, the Taptic engine, the earpiece, the logic board, all the details the iPhone 5S had. It's not sponsored, that's also no affiliate link, I don't get any money for this, but have a look at their website. There's one more thing, very nerdy, I show you. There you go. I just got it. That's the D brand. Probably you heard about this. D brand is doing, and again, not sponsored. I bought this myself. D brand is doing skins for your MacBook, for your iPad, for your even Apple Pencil and so on, you name it. And what I bought here is actually this skin that shows the interior of the iPad. There we go. There's the iPad with the paper-like on it, and on the back, there you go. Usually it's in my Subaru case anyway. But whenever I take it out, I think it's a nice surprise to see this. I think it's sad that we are becoming so serious. I was a business person for 8 years, wearing shirts, having the etiquette and all this, but I felt that I'm losing being myself. Now I'm in the paperless movement. This is me and I'm sharing it with you. And if you're like-minded, come in and let's geek out about the latest tools and tech.